I just wanted to get in game and give you a bit of an overview on the build. I think what's interesting about this build so far is that first of all, I'm not following a build guide, which I think is very clear. And second of all, it has a bit of an identity crisis. Because on the one hand, I'm summoning with Absolution, which summons minions already. I'm summoning more minions with Herald of Purity. But they don't really synergize all too well together, apart from the fact they're all minions. Yeah, I feel it lacks a little bit of synergy. I think I will have to make a decision at some point. But right now I haven't really made that decision, so this is what it is. Let me go over the skills first. Looking at the skills, what I'm currently running is, you can see I got 3 heralds. I got Ash, I got Thunder, and I got Purity. Only Purity is supported by something, the rest are just rough heralds, like bare heralds. Because I have so much reservation efficiency, so I can run all of these. Also, you can run Arctic Armor and Tempest Shield because these are not considered auras. They reserve mana, but they're not auras, so you can use them with your Ascendancy. And then looking at the skills over here, I have the Trigger Wand, which has Connectivity, Desecrate and Flash Offering. Then I have Ray Spectre combined with Minion Life with Meat Shield. And also there's a Stone Golem in here. I'm still leveling this guy a bit for life regeneration. Then I have Absolution, which is currently on a 5 link, Minion Damage, Spell Echo, Physical to Lightning, and Lightning Penetration. And then in the shield I have Herald of Ash, Frostblink, Tempest Shield. Over here Arctic Armor, Shield Charge, Convocation, and Herald of Thunder. And then here is the Herald of Purity with Multi-Strike, Minion Speed, and Minion Damage. Then looking at the overview a little bit, I'm level 88 currently. Offense, I don't think there's too much to see. Defense, I'm of course res capped. Chaos resistance is pretty high, 65, that's not bad at all. And I opted for life regeneration, get a bunch of life regen on the tree, and also get as much block as I can. I don't think I'm gonna be block capped anytime soon, but at least it's better than nothing, right? 45, 40 block is pretty decent, I would say. And I'm quite happy with the life regen per second. This will only go up. Because of the 2 skills that I have over here, Tempest Shield and Arctic Armor, I am immune to freeze and immune to shock, which is pretty good. I have 50% damage reduction from crits, also pretty decent. I'm aiming to get even more. I have, however, no charges. And I think you should really have at least 3 endurance charges one way or another, but right now we don't have that. So that is still something to work on. At least some of these stats are of course explained by the gear that we're running, so let's go over that as well. This is, I think, a very basic wand with not that much on it. The Broken Crown, pretty decent item. The Socketed Gems are supported by level 20 cast on death, doesn't do anything as far as I can tell. It is not casting on death like Ray Spectre or anything like of these things. That just doesn't happen, it seems at least. Maybe it doesn't, I mess up my Spectres, that could be, but I don't think this is an issue. The Rise of the Phoenix, very decent shield, right? Extra maximum fire resistance, that's good. Very decent regeneration, life regeneration. The jewelry is pretty standard, I would say. Resistances, life, here's more resistances and life. The Lahoop of All, a very good item, I think, in a league start scenario. So yeah, I found it, equipped it, it's all good. The 5 link, not too bad either. It's got some life, it's got some res, a bit of energy shield, which I don't need too much of. Very decent. Gloves, the belt, bunch of life on there as well, and some regen, which is nice of course. And then the boots, also a little bit of regen and some res, and of course movement speed. Flasks, nothing to write home about. A corrupted blood flask, and then some of the others. I still have an onslaught flask. This is unnecessary now that I have the Forest Warrior, so I will be replacing this with maybe some evasion, or I don't know yet, but I will replace this one. And then I think finally the passive tree that we will look into. So this is the Ascendancy. The first is the Common Calamity. You have no aura skills. Then here you get a choice. I went for the Herald of Purity for buff effect, and physical damage reduction, which I think is pretty good. And then here you get 2 more Sentinels of Purity. However, this is a bit in conflict, of course, with me putting Absolution on a 5 link. And I think this is the identity crisis that I'm talking about to an extent. I am not sure if I will stick to Absolution, Herald of Purity, Herald of Thunder, Herald of Ash. I have all of these now in the build, but yeah, does it make a whole lot of sense? Maybe not. So I'll tinker with this a little bit more, maybe also depending on what I find. But at the end of the day, I think we should either go one route or the other, and maybe not try to incorporate both Sentinels of Purity and Absolution. Let me walk you through some of the highlights of the rest of the tree, however. I think a lot of this is pretty standard stuff. Here I'm getting some block. You could get more reservation if you want to, mana reservation. I don't need it, so I don't have it. Some life nodes over here. These are the only herald nodes on the tree. I think of course you are taking them, right, as a herald for even more reservation and herald buff effect. So that's fun. I am going with Eldritch Battery. This is just a quality of life. It really helps with your casting and mana requirements. However, it also puts a significant chunk of your defenses on the mana bar. I have right now 1200 energy shield, which could also be on top of my life bar. Some of the other nodes over here, you have the Enduring Bond. I think this is quite important because all of my minions are temporary. So if they run around a little bit longer, that's a good thing. Some more minion stats. I tried using Mind Over Matter actually, but this just drains your mana. And it drains your energy shield every time you get hit. It takes it away from the energy shield until the moment there's nothing left and then you can't cast. It's a disaster, honestly. So I am not a big fan of this at all. I path down using some more life nodes, some regen nodes over here. This is a lot of minion damage and accuracy. Some more regeneration. Probably not the best cluster, but I kind of like it. Reduced extra damage. More block over here. And another block chance mastery, some life and reduction of skills. Here some max res, which I'm also getting, right? If you look at the maximum resistances, it's really not bad. 85 fire, 79 cold and lightning. I mean, that's pretty good. Here more regen, and here more max res. Going up, a bit more life, preservation, reduced extra damage from crits, and so on and so forth. More minion, bit more life over here as well. I will respec probably out of these 2 points and put them into, for example, the jewel sockets. That is the last part so far of this tree. I'm gonna get all of these jewel sockets, put some flat damage in there for our minions, and yeah, I just haven't found it. And then probably the next iteration is gonna be clusters. I think there are very good cluster jewels. There are also Herald specific cluster jewels. I haven't looked into that too much just yet. This build really wasn't all that prepared. But yeah, that's where we're currently at. Maybe end that could be fun with a little map. So you load into the map. I auto cast my Convocation, which is on the second skill bar. You get your Sentinel, of course, press it immediately. And don't forget to loot filter, because for some reason it resets always on GeForce Now. Yeah, and this is how it plays. So you see both my Absolution minions, you see my regular minions. I don't really have to cast myself a whole lot. I can just walk around. And as long as the minions are there and available, they will do all the work. And they do a lot of good work, honestly. I mean, it's quite smooth, it's quite subtle. Even though there's a bunch of minions on the screen here. No issues really whatsoever. I'm pretty tanky, I have a lot of regeneration, as you can see. And the moment these minions start focusing on a single target, for example, it's also pretty good. I can press the right mouse button and summon Innocence effectively. You can see him over here. There he is. Innocence is just absolutely destroying these guys, even though it's only a tier 10. But yeah, it's very good, I would say. But yeah, this is roughly how the build plays currently. And I think what I need to do in the end is make a choice. Because either I should go for lightning and then probably start also buffing my Herald. My Herald of Thunder specifically, right? Because he does something. Like my Herald of Thunder is proccing, right? This is the Herald of Thunder. It's kind of hard to see with all the other lightning going on, but the Herald of Thunder definitely adds to the mix. It's active, it does quite a bit of damage, even though it's not supported by anything. But you can also put that on a 4-link or even on a 6-link if you want to. And then I think that would work quite well with Absolution, for example. Or you go the other route and maybe lean more into the physical minion side of things, where instead of Absolution as a triggering skill or as a skill which sort of summons all these other minions, you have, I think it's called Domination, which is an attack skill. It's not a spell. It's an attack skill, and then that attack skill summons physical minions. You get your Purity, Herald of Purity, physical minions. So then you go into this physical minion overview. And then that is the synergy. So I think you should choose for either of those things. Another option that I'm also considering is to turn the Herald of Purity minions into lightning, which you can do using unique gloves, which I already have. So that's also still an option, and then just see how it goes. But either way, I can only put one of them on a 6-link. So that's the build, guys. Hope you enjoy. I will be playing it more for the rest of the weekend. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and see you soon. Bye bye, guys.